All right, the next one on the list is Winchester Bismuth. This is a full 100% bismuth payload. We offer it in really all the gauges. We got 12 gauge, we got 20 gauge, 28, 410, even in 28 gauge, we even have 3-inch 28 gauge. So talk a little bit about bismuth, Jimmy.
Yeah, so bismuth density is 9.6 grams per cc. So it's denser than steel. Now, it's not as dense as, TSS, but it's still denser than steel. It's going to provide, some of the same characteristics we've seen with the TSS, where it carries its energy further, penetrates deeper, and the way we load our bismuth is with buffer. So when you cut a shell open, you're going to see the buffer pour out with the shot, and the buffer is there to protect the shot from fracturing. Bismuth is a brittle material, so when you fire the shell, some of the pellets at the bottom could fracture if it wasn't protected by that buffer. So when you protect all the pellets, none of them fracture, and they all make it down on target, so you have a very effective payload of heavier than steel shot.
Yep. So we are going to shoot the 12 gauge 3-inch, 1 3/8 ounce. So these are heavy payloads, a lot of pellets. I mean, that's really how this bismuth loads work so well, is we're putting so many pellets on target.
Yep.
And as you said, we're going to likely see more penetration than what we get with a standard steel load. And one of the other pieces of that puzzle is you'll see shot sizes are a little different, right?
Correct, yeah.
So like whenever we're going after ducks, in this instance, to compare it to like a number 2 steel, you use a number 4 bismuth.
Yep, so that's what we're going to shoot today, is a number 4 bismuth.
All right, let's get after it.
So should we cut one open?
Oh yeah.
Let's do that.
Let's cut one open first. That way you guys can see the buffer in here. So we'll cut one.
This is probably something that a lot of people aren't used to seeing in a waterfowl load. It's common in turkey loads, but not so much in waterfowl.
Yeah.
I think we were one of the first ones to do it with our bismuth load.
You can see all that buffering fall out of there. But then you'll look at the bismuth itself, and that bismuth is very uniform. It almost looks like steel shot after it gets plated like that, but it's not. I mean, it's definitely more brittle. That plating does help to kind of help protect that shot from breaking apart, but you really need that buffering in there to protect those bottom pellets within that payload.
Yep, so quite a few pellets there, very round, very uniform. Yeah, the 10 plating on it looks great.
Yep, so let's go ahead and take a shot.
Okay.
All right, Jimmy. Bismuth, 3-inch 12 gauge, 1 3/8 ounce, 1450 feet per second.
Going hot. Holy cow.
Nice. Nice. Very
just
uniform.
Keep getting blown away by the patterns. They just keep getting better and better.
Well, you're shooting well. So that, again, when we get down range here, you're going to see very uniform pattern. Pretty much covers up that whole 3-foot pattern board there with a modified choke. So, I mean, that's a great looking pattern. Let's go down and check out the gel.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how deep the 4s go.
Very uniform pattern. I mean, you don't have hardly any holes in this pattern. You still have good pattern density with this, just simply because there are just so many pellets.
Yeah, the heavy payload really helps out there.
Yeah. So then we take a look back at the gel itself, and again, we'll see some bounce back on here. Again, I'm going to measure to the end of that bounce back. There's a bunch of them that bounce back on here, actually.
Man, these are, I would say, every bit of, I'm guessing you got the tape measure. I'm going to say 4 to 5 inches. This one's probably close to 5. That one's definitely over 4.
Yeah, I'm measuring 4 1/4.
All right, this one's 4 1/2.
4 1/2.
Yeah, 4 1/4 there. Solid 4 there.
So definitely over 4 inches with number 4 bismuth. I'd say probably 4 1/4 to 4 1/2 versus we were at 3 1/2, 3 3/8
Yep.
on number 2 steel. So you're picking up an additional inch if not more.
And a half, yeah.
You know, inch and a half on these pellets. So, I mean, that's, again, you look at the pattern board, and we'll take a look at all these patterns at the end, kind of next to each other. We kind of saved them all, so that way we could do that at the end. This is a great looking pattern. It's very typical of what you're gonna see with bismuth, very uniform. But again, this back side here, on target, on the animal, on the birds, you're gonna see this additional energy, this additional penetration. That's what sets bismuth apart from your standard steel.
Yeah, that's why it hits so hard when you do take a duck with bismuth. You can tell the difference when you're shooting bismuth versus standard steel load. And that's why right there.
Very consistent.
More energy, more penetration. The patterns are amazing.
Yeah, so when you guys will take a look at the side here, you'll see again, you'll see where the pellet is, and there's oftentimes about, heck, on some of these, almost an inch of pullback. And again, that pellet, when we do that in slow motion, that pellet's going about 4.5 inches, and then as that block slaps back shut, it seems to happen on a lot of the shot that's very sleek and streamlined. It just kind of helps squirt it back almost.
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird phenomenon with these blocks, but it's definitely going on, you know, that 4.5 to 4.25 inch. So pretty cool.